September 6th, 2022. I am Arlo Hurst, Director of the Centers for Pathogenic Control. This is the first report of the ZA archives. That's Zulu Alpha. I hope you folks are staying safe and are preparing for the apocalypse. Let's jump right into the official report for this broadcast. This report is on Rabies Lyssavirus. We'll begin with the definition. Rabies is a vaccine-preventable, acute, zoonotic neurotropic disease that is spread to people or animals through bites and scratches. When clinical symptoms are reported, it is nearly 100% fatal. Rabies can affect both domestic and wild animals. Transmissions. It is most prevalent in wild animals such as skunks, raccoons, and foxes. However, in many nations, rabies is carried by dogs. The World Health Organization reports that 99% of rabid transmissions to humans are caused by dogs. In the United States, rabid bats account for the most transmissions at a rate of 70%, according to the CDC. Rabies is currently active on all continents, excluding Antarctica. Over 95% of deaths occur in Asia and Africa. After a bite, the time required for symptoms to occur is known as the incubation period, which may take weeks or even months. However, it is usually within 2 to 10 days. If bitten by an animal or person during this time, it is reported to carry no risk of transmission. It is only after symptoms are observed that the virus becomes contagious. Treatment. Treatment of rabies after infection is known as post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP. During this time, the patient will undergo a series of antibody treatments and vaccinations. Unvaccinated patients will receive what is called human rabies immune globulin, abbreviated HRIG. This is administered on day 0, meaning the day of. A rabies vaccination is given with this. Rabies vaccines are given again 3 more times on days 3, 7, and 14 specifically. Vaccinated individuals will only receive the vaccines, not HRIG. Information obtained through the CDC. The 2 forms of rabies. Now, this information is gathered from multiple sources, including the National Institutes of Health, which is a government entity, as well as the CDC. Before we discuss the chances of and methods by which rabies could cause an apocalypse, we must first discuss the 2 paths of rabies, of which only one is taken. First, we have paralytic rabies, which means the body is struck with paralysis. You are paralyzed. There is nothing you will be doing other than laying in the hospital bed, or if post-apocalypse, in bed at home, on the ground, etc. This type accounts for 20 to 30% of all cases. Now, if you hate the idea of not being able to move, count yourself lucky with this one. Second, and most terrifying, is encephalitic rabies. This is the, quote, furious, end quote, kind of rabies. Consisting of 70 to 80% of all cases, this is the type that medical professionals would say is most capable of becoming a danger to humanity should the virus mutate. Symptoms include fever, hyperactivity, hydrophobia, hypersalivation, deteriorated consciousness, spasms, involuntary stimulation, irritability, and even aggressive behaviors. Around the time of this report being recorded, I'm sure we all saw the YouTube clip of the woman being attacked by a rabid fox. This is not the kind of virus you take lightly, and there's a reason rabies is a name that inspires fear globally. Furthermore, patients can develop hematemesis, which is the vomiting of blood among a handful of other symptoms. All that said, we can move on to the possibility of the apocalypse as a result of rabies. Probability. Rabies transmission through blood is extremely unlikely, and as everyone knows, the main source of transmission are bites. Outside of its host, rabies is extremely poor at surviving. Biting other people would have to be the primary method by which rabies spreads to others, as it currently is. The virus is most potent in saliva at the 2 to 3 day mark, and 2 to 10 days after that, it begins to decline. During this short window, the infected individual would need to be severely aggressive. The issue as far as attacking other people would be remaining physically coordinated enough to pursue a human target. According to the Ethiopian Medical Journal, a case was recorded in which a 41-year-old mother was killed by her infected 5-year-old son, who bit her. These cases are sporadic, but they do occur. According to the NIH, One of the main reasons these occurrences are sporadic is because people being bitten by other rabid people aren't typically reported. There is no statement as to why. However, the NIH also states that the biting of other people from aggression remains actual. External stimuli such as fear, light, and noise can also increase aggression and violent behavior. Therefore, you could accept the old zombie stereotype that noise and light will in fact make the infected more aggressive. In the words of the NIH, quote, "It is widely acknowledged that many viruses are characterized by naturally occurring high mutation rates, which induce constant changes as reliable means for escaping host defenses or facilitating their transmission to other susceptible hosts." End quote. There are a vast array of variants of the pathogen in a wide range of hosts and locations. As stated in Genetic Engineering of Biological Weapons by EMBO reports, scientists have already created biological weapons more devastating and potent than natural mutations of the pathogen. Numerous scientists have concluded that SARS virus was most likely produced under laboratory circumstances. Conclusion. It is stated by the NIH that according to the current available biological evidence, the possibility of rabies mutating either through natural or artificial means, thus causing a zombie apocalypse, cannot be firmly excluded. With little natural obstacles in dense cities and towns, the contagion may increase in a much greater magnitude, easily resulting in apocalyptic proportions. Simulations reveal within the first week of the appearance of patient 0, the majority of the U.S. population would be infected. Only rural areas would remain free of infestation for up to a month. A virus which is entirely preventable could alter the course of human history by mutation, natural or unnatural. The NIH reports the risk of the rabies virus turning into a, quote, zombie virus, end quote, will always remain a realistic threat in the future of humanity. Folks, that's it for this broadcast. Remember that preparation is key to survival, and fear and instinct will keep you alive. Over time, I'll be releasing more reports on various potential viruses. After the ZA Archive series, I'll begin producing videos containing survival tips, to-dos and not-to-dos, so that when shit hits the fan, you'll be safe. Temporarily.